Hello and welcome to the Innovators Corner. Hi Shalini, how are you doing?
Hi, Priggya. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I am doing very well. I'm just checking that is it showing is our live stream happening on LinkedIn simultaneously or not? But it's showing pre-live there, so yeah,
Okay. A
I'll
lot of some other people I spoke to from other countries were also having trouble with LinkedIn Live
yeah.
last week.
Oh, it's
So,
live on LinkedIn. Yeah, I'm
oh,
glad.
so
Perfect.
what are we discussing today?
So we are discussing how to check patent infringement. So I think yeah, this is one of the topic which is with in which inventor feel okay they have developed the technology similar to ours, so they are infringing our patent. So let's I think we need to clarify like when it is infringement and when it is not infringement. So with this idea in mind, I think we have kept this topic.
Right. I think so. I think you're going to ask me for opening remarks again.
Yeah, as usual, Shalini will give us our opening remarks.
I think if you're asking when is the right time to perform a patent infringement search, I'm going to tell you it's now. Like anytime you wake up and say, should I do a patent infringement search? I'll tell you yes. Because it's never too early and never too late to perform your
Yeah,
infringement search. Even when from the inventor side, when they come and they're wondering if they are infringing on anyone's patents, when they come and they talk to us and they fill out the invention disclosure form, it ends up quite a few times the final result, the final invention has evolved quite a bit from when they came to us,
yeah,
and therefore periodic checks for infringement gives you the peace of mind. It'll help you discover if you're infringing on someone, and if you have come up with something that is very different from what you originally came to us with, then of course it always helps to do an infringement search. So, i- opening remarks in
mhm,
conclusion is that if you're doing your patent infringement search, it it saves you time and it saves you money on, and you can figure out if you're violating someone or someone is violating you at that moment.
yeah, absolutely correct. So I think every time, like it has to be an ongoing process where when we are continuously searching from whether our patents are getting infringed or not, or whether we are infringing somebody else's patents or not, both are equally important. For example, if somebody is infringing our patent, then we should take action against them, and then if we are infringing on somebody else's patents, then we should stop doing or probably change our invention to the extent that we are not infringing somebody else's patent.
So, Prigya, is a patent search the same as a novelty search?
So, yeah, so before, Shalini, before this, I think we should clarify what is a patent infringement search so we can differentiate it from the novelty. So the short answer to this question is no, these
Okay,
both are different searches. Patent
right.
novelty search is basically done to check whether we can get a patent or not, and infringement search is done to check whether we are infringing on somebody else's patents or not.
Perfect. That was why I asked the question.
But yeah, we need to dig a level deeper to understand when we are in the act of performing infringement, like
Okay, so
either we are
let's
infringing or somebody else is infringing, but when is the patent infringement happening?
okay. So we'll start with the first level question as to when is it infringing? What is
so
infringement?
what is infringement? I think infringement is, as patent acts gives us the right to exclude others from practicing the invention, and practicing means making, using, selling, offering for sale, or importing an invention into whichever territory we belong. For example, if we are in India, so we have exclusive right to exclude others from practicing the invention. So
Hmm.
if someone else is practicing my invention, I'll say it is a patent infringement unless it falls into some of the exceptions which the Patent Act has provided. If it does not fall into any exception, then it is a patent infringement.
Perfect. So, what can we do to avoid infringement? Search. So, now let's go to that next level of what am I searching if I'm looking for patent infringement? Of course, I'm looking for claims.
Perfect. So, as you said, we are looking for claims.
Hmm. And I think what I like to do in my infringement search is break down the claims into components, into individual, into little phrases
Correct.
wherever there's a separator. And I put it in different columns, in different rows in an Excel sheet.
Yeah.
And I do that for the opposing, depends, so both the claims, I break it down and I put it in phrases in each row. And I
Correct.
compare word for word.
Correct. So yeah, so let's explain what Shalini is saying. Like if she's mapping claims, how she is doing it. So if we have an example of this mobile phone and we have a patent of this mobile phone, and I want to check whether this mobile phone is infringing on that patent or not. What I'll do, I'll write the elements of the claims of that patent in an Excel sheet. I'll divide it into components, and to s- to begin with just the independent claim, because that is the smallest level where infringement can take place. So just the independent claim, I'll focus on the independent claim of the granted patent, and then I'll map the elements of the independent claim to this product. And for example, if that independent claim has 5 elements, I'll map all 5 elements into this product. And if I find all 5 elements in this product, then it is patent infringement. If 4 elements are there and fifth element is not there, we cannot say it's infringement.
Perfect. So, in that sense, patent infringement search is slightly easier on our nerves than a novelty search.
Shalini, again, I'll say it depends, because patent infringement search is jurisdiction specific. So we have, an area to look into. Like, okay, we have to look at granted patents, we have to look into this area only. But when it's novelty search, we can go throughout the world. But in the sense, when we have to find products which are infringing our patents, I think it becomes very difficult sometimes to find the products. So if infringement is happening in products, I think equal skill is
How do we
required for
tackle
both.
that? Yeah. I'm not doubting that at all. Skill is definitely required. So, how do we tackle that?
Finding products.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we have to go all out there in the market, online, offline, everywhere, and search for products which could be similar to our patent
Perfect.
application, and then try to map the product with the claims.
Hmm.
As we said, we do product to claim mapping, and then
Hmm.
decide whether there is infringement or not. Or sometimes, inventors or the innovators or the entrepreneurs, they have something in mind. Okay, these are our competitors, they may be doing an infringement. So in that case, we have to look on the products which the entrepreneur or the business or the inventor or the innovator has given to us. So in that case, if for example we need to check a product, one product to our claims, it's a easier task. But when we have to go all out in the market to find people who might be doing this, then is somewhere where difficulty may lie.
Hmm. Yeah, that can be challenging. But also on one level, it's challenging to find those products. The second level is because I think whatever products, so however it is drafted in the claims, in our claims, the product may not have those features in exactly that, it may not be that evident in the product.
Correct.
So if, we would require the inventor's expertise in addition to the attorney's expertise to make that judgment call.
Correct, absolutely. And Shalini, I think we should also mention that though we said that, we have to do product to claim mapping, this is something which is called literal infringement, but we have another variation of it, which is doctrine of equivalence. So, would you like to share something on that as well? Because sometimes, as you said, the
My
claims could not be exactly similar.
my LLB thesis on doctrine of equivalence. So let me see if I can remember, because it is quite a long time ago. Equivalence is always, see, for me, doctrine of equivalence, it arises whenever we are talking about infringement. If we are talking about, like you said, this was literal infringement, but if and the product or process may be found to infringe under the doctrine of equivalence. So the infringer is benefiting from the patented invention by changing or making insubstantial changes,
Correct,
while the end result is the same.
correct, absolutely. So, yeah, so
And
as
this
Shalini,
doctrine
yeah.
has, I'll say one more thing, and I'll give you the floor. This
Yes, yes,
doctrine
sure.
was, it's not codified. It is something that is crafted by the court to make sure that potential infringers, don't unjustly benefit from someone's invention, someone's patent.
Yeah. So, Shalini, what I was not saying anything. I think you took a pause, so I just interrupted. So, yeah. So, uh, again, I think with the help of example, we can explain. For example, this is a whiteboard marker and it is made of plastic. So, it is the mechanism. It has certain mechanism. So, if I make exactly same whiteboard mechanism of some metal, but it is doing the exactly same work in exactly same manner and producing the same result, then under doctrine of equivalence I might be infringing the patent, because what I have done is just change the material, and changing material is not very substantial. Like we cannot say what is the use of changing material. So in that case, under doctrine of equivalence, it can be held as it is a patent infringement.
Right. So it gives the patent owner a mechanism to claim infringement even when there are no identical um, elements, or not all elements are identical to each other.
Yeah.
So all elements. So this comes. I know we don't go to case usually, but whether, even if one element is different, one element is like one insubstantial difference also constitutes as infringement.
Yeah. So, yeah. So we have a question like, can you please explain the doctrine of inherency? Would you like to take that up?
Doctrine of inherency. And just give me a second. I have to go back and see.
I think what he might mean is, uh, sometimes what happens is, so this is what is my idea of this question. Please just let me know if you need something more around this. Sometimes what happens is a patent application expressly discloses something, and some things are inherent in the patent application. So those
Hmm.
inherent things are something which are necessary for making an invention work. So for example, if I am a person skilled in the art and I have made a patent on this mobile phone, I would know that this mobile phone will have a microprocessor in it. So even if I don't mention, it is inherent that people working in this field, that a microprocessor would be there in this mobile phone.
So
So
whether
these are the inherent things which are necessary for working of a patent. So when, like, under this, like, we have to consider these things are necessary, so addition of these all elements would not help us get through infringement.
so I think that for this in doctrine of inherency comes up either during prior art search and
Yeah,
as well as in infringement search. You cannot just say, so like you said, if you're trying to build a mobile phone then and the microprocessor is patented, you cannot just make a new mobile phone and use a patented product that is
correct,
inherently present in the new phone.
correct.
I think it is also called accidental anticipation.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think because sometimes what will happen is people will come to you and they'll say that this patent application expressly does not disclose this.
Hmm.
But for that, we need to understand that people skilled in the art will whether they'll perceive that these things are inherent, or whether they'll not consider that these things are inherent from the patent application.
Right.
Yeah,
So, but I don't think this doctrine of inherency ties in with the patent infringement search.
yeah, yeah. So it can be used, I think, in it could have multiple uses, like only it's just a way of saying that we should not rely on express disclosure only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So either way, I think you have to do your search.
Hmm. So yes.
And I think I'm just going to say one more thing. I think it comes back to mapping your claims,
Yeah,
which it will
absolutely.
take care of the inherency problem also.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes,
Right.
it is related to a doctrine of equivalence only, because we need to see whether the patent application inherently discloses the feature or not. For example, I have made the pen and I have written three elements. This element, the the nib, the body, and the cap. So maybe in the patent application, I haven't mentioned that this is made up of plastic, this is made up of ink, and this is also made up of plastic. And if I make another product where this is made of metal, this is made of plastic, and this is made of ink, it is inherent that whether this is made up of plastic or it is made up of metal, both could be equivalent to each other. So it is inherent that even if I haven't disclosed that this could be made up of metal, it is inherent that even if it is made up of metal, it would not make a difference, it would still be considered as infringement.
Right. Are there any other questions?
No, we had one. So yes, I think we discussed two most important elements, which are the literal infringement and doctrine of equivalence, and we also discussed how an infringement search is done. So that's all.
Both doctrines preach something. Yes. Both doctrines are are given by they are formulated by the court to protect something. They, oh, sorry, same thing. Okay.
Same thing.
No, no. Doctrine of equivalence tells you that. So let's say I have something. Let's say I have built a water tank and I have fastened it with steel nuts, right? And you copy the water tank. Say Priggya copies the water tank and she replaces those nuts with some other mechanism. Maybe she glues it together. So she has made a very insubstantial change, but she has essentially copied my whole the functionality of my invention she has copied. So so under doctrine of equivalence, she's found to be infringing. But inherency comes in where if I have a car and a new car where it gives me, the engine gives me 40 kilometers to a liter instead of 18 kilometers to a liter, and I don't disclose some component of the car, say the oil filter. Every car has an oil filter. I'm not talking of the EV, of course, I'm talking of regular cars. They have an oil filter, and I don't disclose it. And under that, if Priggya just copies the invention as it is, and she does not disclose that I have made changes to the oil filter or something. I have claimed the oil filter, but Priggya copies it, does not also makes a car which is, probably faster or whatever it's doing, but it does not mention the oil filter. But an oil filter is inherent in a regular car, in a diesel or petrol wala car. So under doctrine of inherence, she is she is infringing. So she should check for all those claims. What are the things that I have claimed for? Equivalence would be if she just changes whatever change I've made to the engine. If she just makes minor changes to it instead of nuts and bolts or something like that, then said she failed.
Yeah. So, yeah, very well explained, Shalini. So, I think at one level, it is the doctrine of inherency. We'll have to see whether what is inherent, what could be considered as inherent disclosure from the patent application. And then the next level is the equivalence, where we equate two things to see whether these inherent things are something on which we are infringing on. So maybe they can work simultaneously, but concept wise, these two are different.
Perfect.
So, Shalini, would you like to give the closing remarks?
I have to open this. Okay. So I think closing remarks is do a patent infringement search have done before you start work on your patent, and also when you are ready to go out in the market, and also when you find someone who is infringing. So you want to make sure you're not the infringer, and you want to make sure nobody's infringing you. So either way, you have to be doing an infringement search. I like to think of it like a
Yes.
tune-up.
Mhm. So, yeah, as we said, it is an ongoing process. The process is to check for infringement, and we have two methods: to literal infringement, where we do the claim mapping, and doctrine of equivalence, where similar we check whether our inventions are same and they are working in the similar manner to produce the same result. So these are the two concepts which we use for infringement, and that's all. We'll see you again next Tuesday. So we have another question just when we were about to end. So let's take this one before going. If the product produced by use of a system is similar to existing granted patent, is different, is it infringement?
Is the process patented? Then yes.
We'll have to see.
Not
Yeah.
infringement under DOE.
He says if the product produced by use of a system similar to existing granting patent is different. So see, if system is same, then you are infringing because we do system to system mapping.
If the system is patented, but he's existing granted patent, I don't know if he's talking of the existing patented product or service or the
No,
process.
he says system. See, if it
Okay.
is a method, if it is a method, we'll apply a different concept because in method, what happens is we'll have to see whether product produced by the method is same or not, and then we can go on to check whether method is same or not. If we are using exactly same method, it would be still an infringement. So best manner to check infringement is just do claim mapping.
Right.
So I think Yuvraj wants to go into burden of proof, where if it is the case of method patents, the burden of proof shifts. But that is another concept, which is burden of proof and not infringement. Shalini, any remarks on
Yeah.
this one?
I think you covered it.
Yeah. So
But I
we'll
think
have to
we'll have to do
do the
burden of
claim
proof. Yeah.
mapping.
And we'll have to do burden of proof in
Yeah. We got a
another
topic for our
Tuesday.
next LinkedIn live. So thank you, Yuvraj. Thank you, IP. Oh, it
Memes.
is a page called IP memes. Wow.
I'll have
Thank
to
you
check it out.
everyone for, yeah. Thank you everyone for joining. We'll see you next Tuesday, same time, 8 p.m.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Prigya.
Thank you, Shalini.